Shikotsu-Tōya National Park. Including the cities of Noboribetsu and Toya, the park area of Lake Shikotsu covers some 99,473 hectares and extends to Lake Toya's two major caldera lakes. The park is indeed an awesome topographic display. The volcanic forms of Mount Usu, Mount Usu, Mount Showa Shinzon, and Mount Taramizon dominate the landscape spectacularly. Visitors to the area are witness to extensive volcanic activity, with various hot springs and sulfuric acid steaming throughout the park. Mount Usu, in particular, puts on a grand show by erupting at an average of once every 30 years. The active volcano blesses the land as a major source for the area's hot springs. Conifers, broadleaf trees, and other common vegetation form the primitive forest landscape. With the local fauna well adapted to the forest environment, brown bears, foxes, the red squirrel, black woodpeckers, and scops owls can be found here. Lake Shikotsu is renowned not just for its splendid natural beauty, but for being Japan's northernmost non-freezing lake. Noboribetsu is home to Mount Kuttara, whose central crater holds Kuttara Lake. The Noboribetsu Bear Park, located a quick ropeway ride from Noboribetsu Hot Spring, is home to around 70 Ezo brown bears, the biggest bears in Japan. There are two large bear enclosures where the animals roam freely within, and a third enclosure called the human cage, which lets you get up close and personal with the bears. Do not leave the park without feeding the bears yourself. They raise their hands, roll over, and even make adorable poses in the hopes of being fed. The Ainu people held the bears in high respect. There is a small museum of Ainu artifacts on display in a traditional dwelling. Closer to the station is Jigokudani Valley, or Hell's Valley, with high volcanic energy in the form of magma believed to be stored underground. Still today, gas and hot water actively pour through the area's natural vents. Although the elevation of Hell's Valley is only 260 meters, alpine plants such as the marsh tea and crowberry grow here. The harshness of the hydrogen sulfide gas and the area's highly acidic and dry volcanic ash soils prevent other plants from growing here. The severity of these conditions combined with harsh weather on the high mountains ensures that only the alpine vegetation can survive. In 1924, the forest around the Noboribetsu Onsen hot spring area was nationally protected. At that time, the forest was primarily comprised of large trees typically found in southern Hokkaido, such as the Mongolian osk and Castor aurelia. The forest underwent significant change owing to the deforestation that occurred in the closing days of World War II, as well as to the destructive forces of Typhoon Tiamaru in 1954. However, it is still possible to find towering Quercus crispula trees here and there, and in sighting these you can perhaps imagine the primeval forest's former glory. Lake Toya is a volcanic caldera lake in Shikotsu-Tōya National Park. The stratovolcano of Mount Usu lies on the southern rim of the caldera. The lake is nearly circular, being 10 kilometers in diameter from the east-west and 9 kilometers from the north-south. The town of Tayako comprises most of the area surrounding the lake, and the town of Shikotsu is located on the eastern side. Lake Toya is said to be the northernmost lake in Japan that never ices, and the second most transparent lake in Japan. Nokojima Island is a recursive island in the middle of the lake which houses the Toya Lake Forest Museum. Surrounding the lake, there are numerous parks as well as walking trails. Several onsen managed by the town of Tayako offer a view of the lake. There are also several hand and foot baths nearby. Uniquely, large vending machines near the onsen offer spring water that can be taken to be used at home. The 2008 G8 summit was held here at the Windsor Hotel Toya Resort and Spa. This alluvial fan at the northwest foot of Mount Usu has been repeatedly attacked by volcanic disasters. During the Meiji eruption in 1910, the Kompira shrine located here was damaged by volcanic blocks, and the nameless mountain in the background was subsequently named Kompira-san. The 1977 eruption resulted in a large amount of ashfall, and during heavy rains the following year, 3 people were killed in mudslides. Taking advantage of this lesson, Sabo dams and artificial rivers were built. During the 2000 eruption, hot lahar that overflowed from the crater attacked 3 5-story apartment buildings in the Sakuragaoka housing complex. The mudflow completely buried the first floor of this apartment building and spilled into the second floor as well. The Kinomi Bridge on the national highway upstream was washed away by the hot mudflow and crashed into the corner of the second floor of this apartment building. You can see the scar. You can also observe the cinder hole that penetrated the roof. Another apartment building near the crater had hundreds of cinder holes in its roof. Fortunately, residents had evacuated before the eruption, so there were no casualties. National Ainu Museum and Park. The open-air facility, with interactive educational exhibits, is better known by the nickname, Upapoi. The name Upapoi means singing in a large group, symbolizing the facility's mission to provide a place for people to gather and learn as a community. Upapoi provides an in-depth look at a history and culture few people outside Japan have heard about. At the time of my visit, the new museum building was under construction in preparation for the 2020 Olympics. However, I was able to see the koten, a reproduction of a traditional Ainu village. There are extensive walking paths that emphasize the importance Ainu culture places on coexisting with nature. Along the way, you can see experience centers for an up-close look at Ainu crafts, cuisine, life and music. The koten is at Upapoi's northernmost edge. Explore inside a sais, or traditional Ainu home, and listen to audio guides explaining how the Ainu used to live and the people's connection to Kamui, Ainu spirit deities that exist throughout nature and watch over humans. While here you can try on Ainu clothing and participate in some of their traditional ceremonies.